everyone. Shenoah Grove here with Texas REIAs. Excited to be here with you this evening. Got a lot of great information to share. Probably one of the things that excites me the most, and I'm a data junkie, left brain junkie, but probably one of the things that excites me the most is when we get those final numbers from all of the different MLSs with all of the data in terms of how we did last year. So I've got all of them and excited to be able to share that with you, and also to be able to share not just how we did in 2021, but also what the forecast looks like for 2022, because none of us are investing in the past. We're all investing in the future. And I got to tell you, this future looks so wonderful. And we had a couple winners and we had a couple losers when it comes to the numbers. So we're going to share that with you as we go through that part of the presentation, which is going to be part 2 of the presentation. So excited to be able to do that with you. But first off, I want to get to know you guys a little bit. I want to find out what brought you here, what you're looking to learn, and how we can help. So is that Carrie? Is that right? Yeah, Carrie, what brought you here? What are you looking to learn? How can we help? And I might repeat this, by the way, just so the folks that are online can hear it as well. My daughter. Okay, your daughter brought you here. Okay, that's awesome. You're a realtor, and you're interested in investing. So I'll tell you that the first deal that I ever did, I did with my mom. The second deal that I did with my brother. And then my husband kind of took over first and second position. So all the deals after that I've done with him, plus other members of the Real Estate Investor Association. But I will tell you, this is a great business to do with family members. How many of you guys are here with someone that you love, a family member? So after I put down, at first I was just going to say family member, people are just not going to answer that. But when I added like the ones that you love, people are feeling a little pressure now. It's like, okay, now they're going to have to raise their hands up. Okay, I see how you guys work. So then what made you decide to come here, or what piqued your interest about real estate investing, or how can we help as part of Texas REIAs? Okay. Okay, so my ad found you. It's what's creepy is when my ad reaches my employees and they're like, is she watching me right now? So an ad found you. You have some friends that are doing real estate investing right now. What are they doing in real estate? Flipping. Okay. Okay, good. Okay, wonderful. And I love that your mom is here, and she is a licensed realtor and broker. So full disclosure, licensed realtor and broker in the great state of Texas. License number 0518223. Don't sue me. That's what we say when we're realtors, right? Like, don't sue me. But seriously, I'll tell you that probably one of the best combinations that you can have out there is a realtor investor combined with a non-realtor investor. Because as a realtor investor, I can get access to things that a non-realtor investor can't. But as a non-realtor investor, you can say things that I cannot and that Carrie cannot. You can tell sellers to fire their realtors. If Carrie and I do that, then we're going to lose our license, right? Or get a little fine on top of that. So I'll tell you, that's a great combination. So I have seen some people make the mistake of, well, you're a realtor, so I should be a realtor too. And let's be a realtor family. And the way I look at it is like, now you got a bunch of people who are going through the licensing requirements, going through the testing requirements, going through the continuing education requirements, and having to go through a lot of the disclosure requirements that can come sometimes when it comes to a real estate investing transaction get in the way. Because do all sellers want to work with realtors? This is the interactive part. I can hear you breathing, guys. So do all sellers want to work with realtors? No. Why might a seller might not want to work with a realtor? It's okay. You can say stuff. I won't be offended. Neither will Carrie, right? We've all heard it all before. Why would a seller not want to work with a realtor? Save money, save fees. What else? You get 100. Well, I mean, there's other costs. Trust me, for sure. There's other closing costs besides realtor fees. But why else might a seller might not want to deal with a realtor? Have any of you guys ever said to yourself or heard someone say, I don't like realtors? Has anybody ever heard somebody say that? Like, I don't want to deal with a realtor. I just don't want to have to go through that. Or I had a bad experience with a realtor, so I don't want to work with a realtor again. So that's why having a combination of non-realtor investor and realtor investor, because sometimes you might approach, is it Bailey? Am I reading that right? So Bailey might approach as the non-realtor investor and find out, well, this person wants to sell but doesn't need to sell. So what does that translate to in terms of the price that they want? It's going to be higher than what you can make money off of. But you can always hand that lead to your mom, Carrie, and say, Carrie, I'm going to tag you in. I'm out. I'm going to go find the next one who's a little bit more motivated, right? So that's where you can make money on more opportunities, right? That's where you can make money on more opportunities. But I will tell you that, and I'll just ask the question, how many of you guys are in here are considering becoming a realtor as part of your investing? How many of you guys are considering becoming a realtor as part of your real estate investing? None of you, really. I think we have like no hands in the room, or you guys can't hear me. I can see you. We're not on Zoom. Sometimes I have to remind you guys who are live in the room that we're not on Zoom. In fact, I'm going to do this little thing here. Let's see if I can get these sidebars toggled a little bit. So I'm just going to go around the room just so everyone can see that we do have live people who are not on Zoom in the room, who are choosing right now to not interact with me, but they want to interact with you. So yes, you can wave. It's okay. This is the beginning of our meeting, so we're still waiting for some folks to come in. But guys, we can have some fun here. Yes, we can playful out while we're together. Make it fun for me too, so we can have a good time together as we are working together through a bunch of real estate knowledge. I think that's going to really help you in your business. So I do see a lot of people who are considering. So is it Ashley? Yeah, okay. I checked you in, but I can't see all the way that far. But Ashley said I might be considering becoming a realtor. So I will tell you. I swear, I think half of the Uber drivers in the city are also realtors. Like, ask, seriously. Tammy, yes. Are you a realtor? Any of you driven for Uber? Yes. So, and I'll tell you, I take a lot of Ubers around the city, and what's really kind of funny is sometimes I'll get in and, have an unusual name. So my name's Shenoah. So when someone picks me up, they're like, kind of look at the name, and then they kind of look back at me, and they kind of, you get that look a couple of times. Then a couple of times someone has said to me like, hey, you're the real estate lady, aren't you? And I'm like, Shenoah, the real estate lady, sure, whatever you want to call me. And then they'll tell me like their story about what they're doing in real estate, whether they're a real estate agent or a real estate investor. It's like, I think they slap off the, and I'll tell you, one time I took an Uber from this hotel, and it was right after one of our meetings, and I was waiting for my Uber, and somebody pulled up and they had a We Buy Houses sign, on their car. And I'm like, oh, that's not my Uber. And then I'm checking, I'm looking, and I'm like, oh wait, that is my Uber. And of course I get in like, oh, you're the real estate investing lady. It's like, did you just leave my meeting? But so here's what I want to tell you guys. If you're thinking about becoming a realtor, there are plenty of realtors out there. I don't necessarily advise that you get your realtor license unless you want to list houses for your friends, your neighbors, your work colleagues, for yourself. And if you want to ride buyers around in your car and show them properties and help them buy houses. If that is what you want to do, then yes, go out and be a realtor. But if you want to buy and sell properties for yourself, right, to be a real estate investor, then I don't necessarily recommend that you go out and get your realtor license because then you're in kind of a disclosure situation that you may or may not want to be in. But there are a ton of realtors out there. Just your next Uber driver, just ask them, hey, you wouldn't happen to be a realtor? And I guarantee you that at least 1 out of 5 will probably say, why, yes, I am, right? It's kind of a small world. But I also want to ask, so Carrie, you said you're a realtor. Tammy, you said you're a realtor. Can I, for the folks in the audience who did not decide to raise their hand to say that they were considering becoming a realtor, but maybe you're still thinking about it, can you, and then for Ashley in the back there too, can you help Ashley out at least? So I'll ask you guys, tell me what you learned about real estate investing in realtor school. Carrie's like, nothing. Tammy, you, nothing. All right, so Ashley, you getting the memo back there? Yes. So you're not going to learn a whole lot about real estate investing in realtor school. So a lot of people think, well, I'm going to learn about real estate. So then my next question is, well, what did you learn about real estate in realtor school? So Carrie's giving me this much, Tammy, maybe this much, I don't know. So it's one of those things you also learn by doing, right? So I just don't want any of you guys to get confused that, okay, I'm going to go to realtor school and I'm going to have all the answers. That's not the case. Now, you might have all the answers to pass the tests that they, give you that you got to go through, but you're going to be a little disappointed when you walk out of there, and you're going to feel like, so after I got out of realtor school back in 2004, I felt like, there was nothing that, I felt like I was a target. Like every single class was, here's how realtors get sued. It was a little frightening. Like I think the last story, before they kind of said, okay, off you go. Good luck when you're, real estate, journey. I think the last story they told me was, well, one time I heard about this realtor and she walked out of her house and she got sued. And I'm like, that's the whole story. Like they kind of try and, scare you about what you can do in real estate. And I think it stops a lot of realtors from feeling like they can also become a real estate investor. And Carrie and Tammy, on what page of the HUD or the closing disclosure statement do realtors get paid? That'd be page 2, right? So where all the fees are. Right? Yes. On what page do all of the investors get paid? That would be on page 1. And which page makes all of the money? The people on page 1. Everybody else on page 2 picks up the scraps, little percentages of what the person who went out there, took the risk, and bought that property for. So I'll tell you, a lot of what I find is after, working with a lot of realtors as they transition into real estate investing, what I find is a lot of them, realize that and want to jump from page 2 to page 1 as quickly as possible, because they're realizing that they've got skills, they've got knowledge. They just have to do some additional things to be able to get in front of where that investor is. And I've heard many realtors say, like, I know more than the person who's, supposed to be the investor on this deal. And yet, he's making $60K and I'm making $10K, right? So we'll open up a little bit of that equity as we go through the presentation tonight, just to kind of share with you how you can make that jump if that's something you're considering. And how you can leverage a great realtor. So some of you guys are probably asking yourself the question, it's like, well, wait a second. Didn't she say that she is a realtor? So why is she telling us not to be a realtor? How many of you guys are thinking that, but maybe not saying that? Victor, you're giving me the smile, like you're like, yes. Well, at some point tonight, I'm going to introduce you to my husband, who's very persuasive. So in 2003, we started to get interested in investing in real estate. And in 2003, my husband, Phil, came up to me and said, Shenoah, we're going to do this real estate thing. I need you to become the realtor. Excuse me? What did I think about realtors? I had not a great impression, which is what a lot of investors, right, have about realtors. And some people have about realtors as well. And I'm like, there were some words spoken. And I said, I can't say this. I want to keep this PG-13 in here. So the bottom line is we drew straws and I lost. So remember I told you the most powerful team is a non-realtor investor and a realtor investor. So where he needs to tag me in, I get tagged in. Where I need to tag him in, I tag him in. That's a powerful team. So again, I'm not telling you guys to go get your agent's license. There are plenty of agents out there. Literally I can almost guarantee that 1 out of 5 to 10 of your Uber drivers has an agent license, which means what's going on in their agent business. That would be nothing. That would be nothing, right? Otherwise, they wouldn't be driving around in an Uber. I'm not trying to be rude. So Tammy knows where I'm coming from. But for those of you who are thinking she's kind of rude, can I ask your permission to be rude? Can I ask your permission? Let me rephrase that. To tell it like it is, only if it's in service to you guys, only if it helps you guys. Is that yes? Is that gonna yes? Okay, wonderful. All right, we'll do that. So Victor. I love how you brought your own notebook. I bring my own notebook with me. So everyone in here who didn't bring a notebook, I know what you're thinking. I'm not going to learn a single valuable thing in here. I might as well is they serving popcorn somewhere? This is going to be a long movie. Victor is here to write some stuff down. I don't know if I want to ask this question yet, but Victor, have you written anything down yet? Not yet. He's like, you bet. Could you speed it? Because I don't, while we're young. Okay. Well, Victor, tell me, I'm going to help you right now. What brought you here? What are you looking to learn? How can we help you? You need to do something different than what you're doing.
Yes, and obviously I know other realtors in my past, and I have family who have realtors.
Some realtors in your family and your friends, yeah?
So obviously we always talk about certain things about buying and selling and things like that.
Always talk about buying and selling, yeah? And how long has this conversation been going? Several years. Is there anyone else in here who's been thinking about real estate investing for several years? Okay. Anybody else over on this side? Several years. Okay, a couple of you guys. You. And you said that. So would you consider yourself like left brain analytical? Or you're detail oriented. Victor, left brain analytical? Yeah. Charles, detail analytical? Fairly? I can't read your name. Stephanie, detail analytical. Yeah. So detail analytical. What that means for folks that are detail analytical is that we have to know everything before we do anything. And that is both a help and a hindrance, right? So our big left brain, our big analytical brain stops us from doing stupid things, right? That sometimes people that we know do, right? Because they haven't put enough thought into it. But our detail left brain analytical side sometimes stops us from doing anything. So, and sometimes that puts us on a learning loop that does not end in some cases for years. And sometimes we're getting in our own way of our own, next steps in life. But Victor, you said, oh, thank you so much. I'm so hungry for ice. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that, guys. But sometimes what we find is we have to kind of take some steps and get uncomfortable. And you guys want to know what's going to be the thing that's going to get you out of that learning loop? It's one thing. It's doing a little bit of marketing and then getting a call, that first call from that first seller. Have you guys ever accidentally picked up a hot potato out of the oven and it's just kind of start bouncing it around? And it's both this combination, not the hot potato part, but the lead part is this combination of terror, excitement, thinking through what all these next steps are going to be. And I promise that will be the one thing that will break you free of this learning loop. Because, I've talked to investors who have told me, I've been learning for, last couple of years, last 5 years, last 10, and I'm like, wow, while we're young, while my clothes are still in style, let's do something, right? And it's really hard for the left brainers. And what we find with the left brainers is they have, what I'll call a very long runway. Okay, I'm getting going, I'm learning, okay, I'm learning some more, okay, I'm learning some more, and then finally when they feel ready, they shoot off like a rocket. Now, who are my right brains? I'm going to go and knock on a door tonight. Who are those people? Okay, you, sir. So my right brains, the way that they go is they're on the airplane that you don't want to be on, right? The one that's starts to take off and then hits the ground, starts to take off and then hits the ground. You make, and I don't know you, sir, but right brainers typically make a lot of mistakes along the way. But they don't care because they have so much passion inside of them that they're just going to go out and make it happen. So there is kind of this happy median. And I know some of you guys are thinking, well, I didn't raise my hand as a left and I didn't raise my hand as a right. I'm a mid-brainer. No, I don't know if let's reevaluate it, right? Reevaluate it. Because in most cases, I can ask you guys a couple of questions and figure out exactly what you are and figure out exactly what's holding you back. And I'll tell you as we go through the presentation tonight, We're going to talk about some of the same things that held us back. So I'll tell you, my husband was a double major, computer science and electrical engineering. And I have an MBA from Rice University. So you think we left-brained around a little bit? Do you think we had these like notebooks? Do you think we had these business plans? And you know what's crazy about these business plans? And how many of you guys are writing your business plan right now for real estate? Some of you guys are just, I'm just going to wing it. Yeah, okay. A couple of you guys are going to write your business plan. I'll tell you, we still have our original business plan. Our business looks nothing like that today. Yes. Why do you think that is? You're like, because you're a terrible left-brainer? Because you need to go to left-brain jail? I'm about to get arrested. I brought my security here tonight, so if you guys do anything wrong, he's going to be watching you. So let's all be good. So here's why. Because I wanted to know everything before I did anything. Because I thought I was a pretty smart lady, and my husband the same way. And we had designed this plan that we wanted to live in our life. And the way that we primarily designed it was we had a certain number of fix and flips that we wanted to do. We had a certain number of wholesales that we wanted to do. We had a certain number of short sales that we wanted to do. We had a certain number of rental properties that we wanted to have. And then we built our plan accordingly. And then we started to talk to sellers. So I love the saying, it's Mike Tyson's former coach. He says, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. Okay? So a seller will punch you in the face. What does that look like? So as a real estate investor, what's one of the primary things that we're looking for when we're talking to a homeowner or when we're looking at a deal? Profit. What's another way that we could call that? Equity, right? We want the seller to have equity. Because if the seller has equity, then there's a way for us to get profit. Yes, yes? But what happens when you talk to a seller who has little, no, or negative equity? And what happens if you're in a part of the market cycle where you got a lot of those? Or your marketing's just not bringing you the kind of leads that you want? What do? Did your plan, did your seller punch you in the face? And the answer is yes. So even though we had this plan of very specifically, like this is how we wanted to do. These were our value projections for our rental properties in terms of building our wealth, in terms of building our cash flow. And then we had to do something that a lot of left-brainers don't necessarily like, which is what? We had to respond to the market. We had to respond to the leads that the market was giving us. And the leads that the market gives you, they don't always have as much equity as you might hope for you to be able to make money. So what did we then have to figure out and decide to do? What then became our objective? What did we have to do in order to survive? I think you should all write this down, Victor. I'm going to give you something good. Your job as a real estate investor is to figure out how to make money every time the phone rings. Your job as a real estate investor is to figure out how to make money every time the phone rings, even when it's not matching your plan. Because how many of you guys have done the math on how much it costs to create a lead, to get a lead, to call you? Is it free? No. Some people might spend anywhere from $100 to $1,000 to get that lead. $100 to $1,000 to be able to get that lead. And if it doesn't fit in your little left brain plan, are you going to be able to make money off of that? This is the interactive part. Where you're not on Zoom. You can say something. It's okay. All right? So, I'll ask the question. This is a strange time right now. So, I'll just share with you an example that I used to do all the time. And I'd ask in the audience at the Real Estate Investor Association, I said, does anybody out here have a $100 bill? And someone, if you have 100 on you, who? Anybody? Who? Michael, can I see it for a second? We got the police back here, so he can. Actually, $100. I can rob him of that, and you won't arrest me. Is that how that works now? If I split it, okay. So Michael, All right. Thank you, sir. Yeah. Michael seems a little hesitant. Well, Michael wasn't that hesitant because he doesn't know what my second question is, which is this. Who are my smokers in the room? Who has a lighter? Who has a lighter? It's okay. I'll take it. Toss it up. Yeah, toss it up. Yeah. Now Michael is saying, what the hell did I do? She can't even catch a lighter. What is she going to do with my bill? Right? So here's the way I like to, this is an offense, lighting a $100 bill. It's a federal offense. So basically you can't arrest me because it's out of your jurisdiction. I've watched CSI and NCIS, so I know. I know. So, and then I'm just going to do a little toggle around the room so you guys can say hello to everyone we have online, so you can wave and say hello, and you can see my heavy in the back. We're about to show him right now. He's going to make sure I don't light this bill on fire. Awesome. Wonderful. You guys can say hello. You guys are so interactive. Please don't stop. It's killing me. So it's kind of hard when I'm holding this, to kind of hold this at the same time. This is kind of like a janky old lighter. It's like half, oh wait, it's not janky. It's also a beer opener. Wow, this guy is super resourceful. I like him already. Like, I want him on my team. So when you get that call, oh, this is a nice flame. I like how you got it teed up really nicely for me too. When you get that call and it does not fit in your little plan that you make as a left brainer, what are you effectively doing? In any business, you're burning money. How many of you guys are nervous right now? Besides Michael, who gave me the money. How many of you're nervous? Why? It feels uncomfortable. It feels not right. It feels awful. It feels, you want to come up here and tackle me, right? That's how I feel too. But there's something weird that happens. Incoming. Oh, there's no extra charge for being thrown lighters at the meeting tonight. There's something weird that happens when we become a real estate investor, that we forget that the person who's calling us, that it took this to be able to generate it. So what are we in such a hurry to do? We are in a huge hurry to get off the phone because the deal doesn't meet my criteria. It's not until you figure out how to make money. What did you write down, Victor? The one thing. Every time the phone rings, that you're going to value this money. It's so crazy because when you saw me burning this bill, probably every single one of you were like, when I do it, it makes my stomach turn. Like, I'm the person who picks up a penny in a public restroom floor. That's how I'm attached to money, right? That's how value driven I am. I want you guys to have that same viewpoint when you are doing your marketing as a real estate investor. And my best advice for all of you is to take this $100 bill and put it right there on your desk. I can sign it for you if you'd like. Put that right there on your desk so that when that phone rings, that association is there. I don't want you to burn it, but I want you to know that you burned it if you did not figure out how to make money when that phone rings. How do we do that as real estate investors when it doesn't fit in the plan that we want? Should I give this back to him, or should I'm splitting it with you? Okay. How do we do that? He's like, is it 200? Is it with interest? How do we do that? How do we figure out how to make money every time the phone rings when it doesn't fit in our left brain plan? Because it's not going to. It just won't. What do we do? Find someone else's? Develop that. Oh, sir, would you like a mic? Did you hear what he said? Victor, I hope you wrote that down. Find somebody else. One man's trash is another man's treasure. And that is so true when it comes to real estate investing. So you need to find, and some people have tried to translate this after I've said it. So basically you're saying I need to find idiots to sell them crappy deals to. That's not what I'm saying, but you do need to find other people who might have different time horizons than you do. You might need to find other people who have other skills than you do, right? So you can pass, this is not for me, but I'm going to ask you to list it for me, right? And as we're partners, maybe I could get a little marketing fee there, right? So you need to find other people who will value those leads so that you can make money, so that you can figure out how to make that phone ring even more. Because once you give up on that lead, once you give up on that $100 bill, and literally like my husband and I like will play a game, like we're just going to keep them on the phone until we get something done. We're going to ask questions. We're going to remain curious. So here's the other thing that punches my left brainers in the face. My left brainers know too much. So who's going to ask more questions, my right brainers or my left brainers? My right brainers are going to ask a lot more questions because my left brainers, they already know the answer. I'm speaking from my own left brain experience, okay? Because there were many times when I was first getting started that I did not have this philosophy. And I left money on the table. I left hundreds and thousands of dollars on the table until I changed my mindset to be more curious, to ask more questions, and to figure out different strategies to make money every single time the phone rings. So as we go through the meeting tonight, how would you guys like to know how to make money every time the phone rings, even if it doesn't fit in your plan, even if it doesn't have the equity that you're looking for? So that's what we figured out. So we figured out a solution, what we call a strategy, an investing strategy for if you have 100% equity, meaning the seller owns it outright, or if you have little, no, or negative equity, right? If you've really screwed this up, I can still help you. Now, so this comes partially from your love of money. Where else does it come from? Where else does this mindset come from? Someone said freedom. Okay, what else? Values. Go into more detail there. He's like, I'm out. Like I thought we were just throwing one-word answers. I didn't know that there was, can you use it in a sentence? What else? What else? Sense of accomplishment. I like that. What else? Creating generational wealth. That's deep. But what else? Having a purpose. Ooh. Sir, what's your name? Luis? Luis. What in the world does having a purpose do with being a real estate investor? Service. It's all service. If you do not wake up with a service heart, and listen, guys, I don't care if you're investing in real estate or driving Uber, right? If you are not waking up in the morning with a service heart, you're going to do okay. Probably. Maybe. But are you going to really get the success that you're really looking for? Are you going to really be able to connect with people? Are you going to be able to beat out another investor that you are going head to head against? If you're the left brain, like, and I'll tell you, like, this is an embarrassing thing that I used to say. This is a very embarrassing thing that I used to say, and that is, don't do this. I'm embarrassed that I ever even did this or said this, or even still a little bit of my left brain thinks this. And I've literally told people, talk to me like I'm a calculator. Go. Any of my other left brainers in there have kind of felt that or wanted to say that to somebody? Who are you? Just okay, you? Anybody else besides me and this other jerk off over here? Right? I mean, so I had to learn to be less of a jerk. I had to be learn to be less of a just give me the facts, ma'am. Because are you going to hear some of the toughest, most difficult, most heart-wrenching stories you've ever heard in your life as a real estate investor? I can guarantee you, you will. I can guarantee you, you will. You have to stay on the side of good. You have to hold back sometimes what is that killer instinct in us to use our time wisely, to get a deal, to get it under contract and to make money and steamroll over people. People like that, You'll get to a level of success, but it's not until you open your heart to service. And I didn't think I was going to be talking about service here tonight, but it's not until you open your heart to service. It's not until you show up and don't say, here I am, but instead when you show up and say, there you are, and I'm here to be of service to you, does your brain start to click open so that you can be curious, so that you can ask questions, and so that you can ultimately get to where you want to go, which is legacy, right? Which is making money, which is building a business, right? Which is financial freedom, which is all these things that we are probably all here for. Can I get an amen? All right. So thank you guys for, we're going to do several different recordings tonight. So this is the first one. It's kind of where I get to interview you guys. So I got to talk to a couple of you guys, burn some money. So Michael, so glad that didn't accidentally happen, because I have done that exercise before, and I didn't have my glasses on and I accidentally burned. So after the meeting, I'm walking up to my husband and I'm saying, hey, honey, do you happen to have $100 on you? Because I accidentally burned a $100 bill. He's like, you did what? So I'm so glad that your $100 bill survived. So I think we're going to get ready for the next part of the presentation. So if you guys will give me a couple of seconds, I'll go ahead and pull that up. And the end.